Okay, I'm going to go over some of the features of the GcodeDesigner tool. So basically, when you get to the page through the website, you're going to see this funny looking image in the middle of the page, which is the deck of the LabBot3D-Pi. So in this case, we have a display of the pipette tip box where tips can be loaded. There's a reagent reservoir where you can aspirate large volumes and fill up plates. You have a wash station and a dry pad where you can wash and dry the pipettes. Then you have a station where you can eject the pipettes when you're done into waste. Also, you have different types of targets, and so we'll go into this in more detail later, but you can see that there are different types of plates and slides or whatever object you do wish to work with. These normally it's 96 well or 384 well plates. So we have here displayed these different types of targets, and you can also see that you have different groups. So you have on the top row here 4 96 well plates, and they're all the same target, but they consist of a group of 4. So, and then in this case we have 2 384 well plates in one group, and then in this case here with the slides we actually have 3 different slides side by side put together. So that's a target group of 3 rows in one column. Okay, so to the left of this display, you're going to see 4 different tabs. The about, the applications, and the objects in the G code. And in the bottom, you have these various input parameters that you can use to tweak the automated process. So going now in a little more detail about the tabs on the left, you have here in the applications tab 4 different currently applications that have been put together using this tool. And so like for example, if you wanted to click the 384 well micro well pipetting application, you can see it's a little bit of videos, and so when you do click this, you can also see there's 2 tabs in the top. You have the data, hopefully we can add more over time, and the designer interface, so you can see the how the plates were laid out for this particular application. Here you can see a display of different types of targets that are or have been put into the system. So we have like a Nunk Maxi Sorb 96 well plate, a Griner 384 well conical plate, and a Grace Bio nitrocellulose 24 well slide. So then this has to do with the target types objects, and we'll go into how these can be edited briefly, but also going in terms of introduction is the other types of objects that you can work with on the system. So thus far we have a pipette tip box, there's the reagent reservoir, the ejector, head camera, wash station, and antibodies, which we'll get into a little bit briefly later. But let's first focus on the targets. So there's 2 different types of ways of looking at the targets. There are the target parameters themselves. So if you click on these hyperlinks, there's a little bit of description about what they're used for. And so if we look at the targets and we open up the target editor, you can see more info about the physical parameters of the target. So for example, you have the size, and including the Z height, which it's, by the way, is how far the tip goes down. So it's not actually the height of the plate itself, but it's how far that particular pipette, which will vary depending on the type of pipette you work with, will go down to the bottom of the well. You also have the margins. You have indication of the shape of the well size, and the spacing. In this case, it's a 9mm spaced well because it's 96 well plate. And then we also have target groups. So basically, you can generate a target group from the target, and then you can modify the target group. So here we have like notes we can add about the target group, its position, the row and column, the spacing between the targets, and also if you wanted to calculate the position of the targets based on this criteria, you can, or you can actually independently adjust the positions of each target. Another nice feature is that you can activate or deactivate the target depending on if you want to spot on it or not, spot into it. So, but only for dispensing. If you would say wanted to aspirate, like for example, you can still aspirate out of a deactivated target.